In this video, we give a summary of the false ideals of Christ-like love and discuss proofs of the three deadly virtues. Consider the following quotes where Mother Teresa, in her own words, describes the false ideal of Christ-like love as being selfless, self-sacrificial, and unconditional. She said, "Our love for one another will be selfless, generous, tender, personal, and respectful, beyond likes and dislikes, friendship and enmity, worthiness and unworthiness, always inspiring, encouraging, trusting, wholehearted, and sacrificial unto the death of the cross." She also said, "Love in order to survive must be nourished by sacrifices, especially the sacrifice of self. Charity, to be fruitful, must cost us. This love should flow from self-sacrifice, and it must be felt to the point of hurting. He wants us to love one another, to give ourselves to each other until it hurts. Give until it hurts, until you feel the pain." Here is the recipe of how to corrupt love in 3 simple steps. Take the words, "I love you." Eliminate the I from the I love you. How? Introduce selflessness. With the self gone, we must remove any I from the equation and replace it with a generic variable called X. Now let's eliminate the you from I love you. How? Introduce unconditional love. Unconditional love has nothing to do with any attribute the person may or may not possess. So we must replace the you with a generic variable called Y. Now let's eliminate the concept of love itself, turning it into a sacrificial, duty-laden relationship. How? Introduce self-sacrifice. Love is no longer recognizable as love because it has now become, "I sacrifice myself for you." All 3 taken together, selflessness, unconditional love, and self-sacrifice, I love you becomes X dutifully sacrifices itself for Y, to the utmost. This unconditional, selfless, self-sacrificial love becomes an all-powerful God in itself. It becomes a universal get-out-of-jail-free card for anyone to do anything and get away with it as long as they claim it is love. It takes over and undercuts everything it touches, becoming a law unto itself thanks to duty ethics. Let's go through some existential proofs to show the deadly nature of these 3 deadly virtues. Tulip flowers have specific life requirements which demand constant care, such as sunshine, water, and minerals. Let's apply the 3 deadly virtues to the tulips in an existential proof and see what happens. Starting with selflessness, the flower must forget about the patch of earth its life requires. It must selflessly invite others to take up its space, but not just any others. Its duty is to invite the most needy others. It must invite dandelions or weeds to come share its space. Next, with self-sacrifice, when the rain comes, it must give it all away. Remember, give, said the little stream? Duty requires that it give away no matter what or no matter who the others are, even if they are weeds. So with an umbrella over the tulip to redirect the water to others, the weeds are helped to grow and multiply. Finally, apply unconditional love. The tulip must love all these poor dandelion creatures no matter what, especially to the point of giving up its life for them. The fact that they have taken over its space and sucked up all of the water just gives the tulip all the more chance to prove its unconditional love. In the end, the tulip is gone. The garden has become a patch of overgrown weeds, worthy of being burned. If the 3 deadly virtues consistently applied will do that to your garden, what will they do to your life? Next, let's apply the 3 deadly virtues to the owner of a convenience store in an existential proof and see what happens. First, we apply selflessness to the convenience store. Instead of worrying about building a business for the purpose of maintaining your own life and livelihood, you worry about selfless service to those who come in. As the owner, you stay open 24/7, even if no customers come by. You forget about closing on holidays, family events, etc., and work 24/7, living just to serve others. Next, we apply self-sacrifice. It is not enough just to break even. You cannot make a profit. In fact, you must lose money by giving stuff away. Remember, give, said the little stream? Otherwise, you are being selfish. Next, to show your unconditional love, you invite everyone, friends, thieves, competitors, to come loot your shelves. Remember, worthy or unworthy, it doesn't matter when it comes to unconditional love. Obviously, the store will not stay in business for very long. If the 3 deadly virtues consistently applied will do that to your convenience store, what will they do to your life? Let's apply the three deadly virtues in the operation of a nuclear power plant as an existential proof. Welcome to your new job offer working for the Value Ethics Power Plant. Let's go through your list of employee benefits that will be your compensation for working here. Annual salary, 20% above average salary in the surrounding area due to your specific technical expertise. Annual bonus, 15% of annual salary as an incentive to keep excellent workers like yourself from leaving to work for competitors. Strong work ethic by coworkers, high morale, low turnover due to excellent company profit margins, and well-defined performance criteria. Uncompromising safety standards. Rigorous background checks for all employees. Only highly qualified applicants get to work here. Great profit margins, great projections for the next year, so you take the job. So now imagine that in the first quarter of the new year, a new governing body, Duty Ethics Inc., takes over and starts implementing supposedly new ethically ideal policies. In the first quarter, they implement selflessness policy. In order to forget about ourselves and put others first, we must sell energy at cost, freeze wages, and remove all employee bonus incentives. Consequently, all expansion plans are no longer feasible. In the second quarter, they implement self-sacrifice policy. In order to show proper sacrificial love to others, we will now sell energy below cost. In order to sustain this effort, we must have a series of layoffs and wage cuts. Then, in the third quarter, they implement the unconditional love and non-judgmentalism policy. Because we must love everyone, no matter what or who, we remove all hiring standards. We stop doing any background checks and drop all employee performance measurements for those employees who still remain. But that's still not enough. We also initiate a love your enemies quota of hiring 1 terrorist per 100 employees. What do you think our fourth quarter projections look like? If the three deadly virtues consistently applied will do that to our power plant, what will they do to your life? Finally, let's apply the three deadly virtues as an existential proof in parenthood. What would it mean to your daughter to apply these three deadly virtues on a date? Imagine the look and horror on the parent's face when their teenage daughter joyfully announces to them that she is going to live up to their heavenly ideal of Christian love and go on a selfless, self-sacrificial, and unconditional love date. That her one all-consuming desire is to be a true victim of his love, to satiate his infinite thirst for love and sacrifice, and to give of herself as his tool or instrument to do with as he pleases, blindly, lovingly, trustingly, and without counting the cost. Would any sane parent actually be willing to go along with this? Yet consider the ideal attitude and victim mentality stated by Mother Teresa. She said, "Jesus, my own Jesus, I am only thine. I am so stupid. I do not know what to say, but do with me whatever you wish, as long as you wish. I love you not for what you give, but for what you take, Jesus. Why can't I be a perfect Loretto nun, a real victim of your love?" If the three deadly virtues don't work in real life, a flower bed, a convenience store, a power plant, in parenthood, and so on, why does traditional Christianity continue to advocate them? How did traditional Christianity get there? Take the phrase, "Wickedness never was happiness." In value ethics, this means you renounce wickedness to gain happiness. From a true ideology perspective, wickedness and happiness are not compatible. From a duty ethics perspective, one turns the phrase on its head. Happiness has nothing to do with righteousness. The thought from duty ethics is that one must renounce happiness for righteousness demands. This is where the false ideology from duty ethics comes in, where they claim that righteousness and happiness are not compatible. The bait and switch comes from this overlap in the word happiness. The promise of happiness from value ethics and then duty ethics takes it away, overshooting the mark into absolutism. Let's rewind a bit before the bait and switch and take a closer look. If happiness is the ultimate end, then righteousness is not an end in itself, as duty ethics would claim, but a means used to achieve eternal happiness. Value ethics has no bait and switch. Joseph Smith said, "Happiness is the object and design of our existence, and will be the end thereof if we pursue the path that leads to it. And this path is virtue, uprightness, faithfulness, holiness, and keeping all the commandments of God." Notice the conditional if. He also said, And as God has designed our happiness and the happiness of all his creatures, he never has, he never will institute an ordinance or give a commandment to his people that is not calculated in its nature to produce that happiness which he has designed, and which will not end in the greatest amount of good and glory to those who become the recipients of his law and ordinances. President John Taylor said, "It is life and the pursuit of happiness that ought to occupy the attention of all intellectual beings, and with those things that we consider to best promote not only our temporal, but our eternal happiness." Notice the conditional ought. Elder Boyd K. Packer said, "There are spiritual and physical laws to obey if we are to be happy." Notice the conditional if. It is called the great plan of happiness, not the great plan of duty or the great plan of unconditional love. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Christian Eternalism YouTube channel and visit www.christianeternalism.org.